This was one of the last movies to come out in theaters before the pandemic hit my country in full force. That was unfortunate. Based on the comic book character of the same name, Bloodshot follows a former Marine who's left for dead after his wife is killed. Now supplied with nanobot technology as a superpower, he embarks on a quest for vengeance. He can't seem to remember much of his former life, but still remembers his skills as a Marine. When he recovers his memories, he discovers that he's been a pawn in a bigger game, that his life isn't exactly what it was, and must now track down his wife's true killer. Originally created by Valiant Comics, the character has gone through a few iterations throughout the years. The run that this movie is based on is that of the 2012 version, where he believes himself to be a soldier named Ray Garrison. He discovers that his memories are made of various dead soldiers, including one named Ray Garrison and another called Angelo Martelli, the latter of which was the name of the original Bloodshot. This was actually supposed to be the second film in a shared universe based on Valiant Comics, with the first one being Harbinger. However, Bloodshot was given priority. The movie was directed by Dave Wilson, credited as Dave S.F. Wilson, who has had quite the career in visual effects, working as a cinematic director on several video games. The first movie he worked on was Avengers: Age of Ultron, and his first gig as director was the premiere episode of Love, Death, and Robots. So it sounds like we have a guy who knows his way around directing visual effects, which is good for an effects-heavy movie such as this. It also has a competent writer handling the script, Eric Hesserer. His previous work includes, but isn't limited to, Lights Out, Arrival, for which he was nominated for an Academy Award, and Bird Box. The only thorn in its side is co-writer Jeff Wadlow, who was a writer and the director of Fantasy Island. If that movie has taught me anything with his name attached to it is screwed from the get-go. It also doesn't help that this movie was made by Sony, the same company that gave us Fantasy Island. I haven't even begun talking about the movie itself, and you probably already have a bad feeling about it. Not to mention that it came out right in the midst of COVID. In fact, it holds a record for having the most front-loaded opening at the box office for a non-concert movie. It's abundantly clear that this was meant to be a new franchise starter, another vehicle for Vin Diesel to headline now that the Fast and Furious series is wrapping up, and since there are no more Xander Cage sequels in the works. What everyone involved seems to forget is that if you want a franchise, you need to make a good movie first. If you've watched the trailer, then you could more or less predict how the plot is going to go. Guy tracks down his wife's killer, it turns out his memories have been altered, and now he goes after the bad guys for real. That's pretty much it. There really aren't any big surprises or anything that makes this movie worthy of a full-on plot summary. Let's start with the positives. The special effects are well done. For the most part, Dave Wilson's experience as a CGI director comes through. There are moments where even his expertise can't save a shot. Look at this, look at the lighting. It's way too obvious that this was shot on a green screen, and this was shot on location. Now, to be fair, this is a key moment in the movie where he reveals that this is part of a simulation. But still, it's one of those things where once you see it, you can't quite unsee it. It just feels very sloppy. Despite this, the VFX remain a highlight, especially when you see Vin Diesel get shot up and his skeleton gets exposed. It's a shame really, because the VFX shots are an amazing blend of lighting, particles, and graphics. They deserved a better movie. Now let me ask you something. How much do you think this movie cost to make? 100 million? 150 million? 250 million? Yeah, how crazy is that? Sure, it's still a very below average superhero flick, but for a movie that costs less than Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man fee, it looks amazing. In fact, it's almost insulting how good the special effects look when compared to other movies. There's no reason a movie that cost upwards of, $500 million should look like garbage. The action is also quite appealing. I mean, it's no John Wick, but Wilson's experience as a video game cinematic director comes in handy. The scene where Vin Diesel jumps out the window and has to fight in the elevator shaft is easily the best part of the movie, which probably explains why it was all over the marketing. This moment right here is also pretty kick-ass. Okay, I'm done singing this movie's praises. Let's get into the bad stuff. Vin Diesel is clearly not going for any Oscars here. He's going the Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham route of playing the same character in every movie. But because the movie he's in is so devoid of excitement or entertainment, his subpar acting sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not like he's doing especially bad, but when there's nothing else drawing your attention, that's what your mind focuses on.
So we're wounded warriors.
Not wounded. Improved. Enhanced. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Oh, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Or maybe I'm just gonna wake up.
It sounds like a cop-out to blame it on the script, but Vin Diesel has proven in the past that he can act. Not to mention, it's not like the other actors are given much to do here either. Guy Pearce plays generic mad scientist slash evil CEO villain as the head of Rising Spirit Technologies. Isa Gonzalez is a secondary lead who may or may not be a possible love interest, and Lamorne Morris plays the quirky yet likable comic relief.
Don't look at my ass. Don't.
Feels like they got bamboozled into signing on, because their agents or the casting director told them that it would be the next big superhero franchise. Which, granted, given that this was filmed in 2018, it wasn't hard to see why they said yes. Superheroes dominated the back half of the 2010s, and if you were given the chance to be a part of that moneymaker, you'd probably say yes as well. Still, it kind of hurts seeing genuinely talented actors take part in what is ultimately generic superhero slop.
Never gets old.
Toby Kebbell, what are you doing here? Did you miss a house payment or something? So, after Ray kills Martin Axe, that is such a stupid name, it feels like it's trying way too hard to sound comic booky, Ray is shut down, his memories are altered to go after the next target, but the target plants a seed of doubt in his mind.
You murdered my wife!
Your wife? What are you even talking about? They're lying to you. You understand?
And here's where we get into the major issue of the movie. The pacing. It stalls for time, almost like it's trying to hide the twist. Never mind the fact that it was revealed in the marketing, so the audience already knows what to expect, and never mind the fact that it happens so early on. Even before it comes up, you can predict it. The thing is, you don't even have to have watched the trailer to guess what happens. By the time Ray kills his first target and Dr. M.L. Harding shuts him down, you immediately put the pieces together and figure out what's next. Eventually, he goes AWOL, where Wilfred Wiggins helps him realize that RST is manipulating him, and Ray goes to track down his supposed dead wife, Gina. Not only is she still alive and well, but it turns out that their relationship ended 5 years ago, and she has a new life and family. Now, this was actually a somewhat decent twist. You think with the way this movie's going, the big reveal would be that Dr. Harding killed his wife, and that kicks off the revenge plot. Instead, when Ray returns to RST, he's looking for complete freedom. We get a lengthy battle sequence that, admittedly, isn't terrible, but the pacing drags on and you're just waiting for the end. Ray sacrifices himself to win, but then wakes up with the nanobots now completely independent. Ray, KT, and Wilfred all ride off in search of a new life, and hopes for a sequel that will never happen.
So where to now?
I have no idea.
Perfect.
A little too perfect if you ask me. Are you serious? Right into the sunset.
The movie also has these moments of being self-aware, which that's a check that this movie can't cash.
What story should I try next? Should I stick with tennis or cricket, maybe?
Dude, I'm from Jersey, but if you're asking, I got some script ideas.
I'll pass.
Seriously?
You've already ripped off every movie cliche there is. I think Psycho Killer and a dancing lunatic in a slaughterhouse is plenty.
Yeah, you ain't slick, movie. Bloodshot is a pretty good demo reel for the visual effects team, but that's about all it's good for. The story is paper thin predictable, the characters are given nothing interesting to do, everyone who's not Vin Diesel is clearly there just to cash a check, and it's just a very uninspired superhero movie. I can't give it credit for getting me curious to check out the comics, and for being effective with its effects. But other than that, there's really no reason to see it. At no point does this movie really kick into gear. You're just stuck watching mediocre slop that goes nowhere. It's a very forgettable blockbuster that was probably going to flop at the box office, with or without a pandemic. It's teetering on skip it, but leans just enough over for a streaming viewing. Alright, that's my review of Bloodshot. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or What's a type of superhero movie that you think hasn't quite been done in their genre yet? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, this is the Canadian Movie Buff saying I hope you had a fantastic weekend at the movies. See ya!